A 90-pound pit bull named Stabler did something his family thought was impossible. He threw the most dramatic tantrum anyone had ever witnessed, refusing to leave a complete stranger's side for 3 straight hours. What this rescued dog sensed, what his eyes locked onto with desperate intensity, would end up saving a life and proving that sometimes the loudest screams come from hearts that love the deepest. This is Stabler, and this is the night he went absolutely berserk for a reason nobody understood until it was almost too late. 6 months earlier, Marcos Chen walked into a high-mortality shelter in Mexico City. He wasn't looking for a perfect dog, he was looking for a dog that needed him. The shelter director pulled him aside before he could even reach the kennels. "That pit bull in cage 7 has serious problems," she warned, her voice dropping low. "He's been returned twice already. Too emotional, too intense, throws tantrums when things don't go his way. I'm being honest because I don't want you coming back here in 2 weeks." Marcos peered through the cold metal bars at Stabler. Every other dog in that shelter was barking, jumping, desperate for attention. But not Stabler. He just sat there, perfectly still, staring at Marcos with eyes that had given up on everything except maybe, just maybe, one final chance at being loved. "I'll take him," Marcos said without hesitation. And if you're still watching right now, but you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, it honestly breaks my heart a little. Because stories like this, stories about dogs who see what we're too blind to notice, about love that refuses to stay quiet when someone is hurting, these stories need people like you. People who believe that sometimes the most dramatic souls are simply the ones who care the most. Please subscribe. We need you here. We need you in this pack. His girlfriend Raquel wasn't convinced. "That dog looks like he could snap at any second," she said nervously, watching Stabler pace around her apartment. "Look at how tense he is. What if he attacks someone?" But Marcos saw something completely different. He saw a dog who'd been abandoned twice, labeled as too much trouble, tossed aside like he was disposable. "He just needs someone who won't give up on him," Marcos told her quietly. The first 2 weeks were careful and silent. Stabler ate his meals slowly, slept in his corner bed, and watched everything with an intensity that made visitors deeply uncomfortable. He never barked, never jumped, never showed a single ounce of aggression, but he was always watching, always observing, especially Raquel. Then week 3 arrived and everything changed. Raquel came home late from work one Tuesday night, exhausted and drained. The moment she walked through that door, Stabler went completely berserk. Not aggressive, dramatic. He paced in frantic circles, whined at the door, gently scratched at her legs, then threw his entire 90-pound body to the floor and refused to move. His eyes locked onto hers with desperate, almost human intensity. "What's wrong with you?" Raquel asked, half laughing, half genuinely worried. "I'm fine. I'm home now. Everything's okay." But Stabler wouldn't stop. He grabbed her jacket sleeve with his teeth, careful not to bite, and pulled her toward the couch. Then he sat directly in front of her, placed one massive paw on her knee, and just stared into her soul. "This dog is insane," Raquel joked to Marcos later that night. "He literally throws tantrums like a little kid." But Stabler wasn't insane. He was paying attention in ways humans had forgotten how to. The real incident happened 3 weeks later. Raquel invited her sister Emma over for dinner. Emma was going through hell, a brutal divorce, spiraling depression, but she was putting on the bravest face anyone had ever seen. She smiled brightly, laughed at every joke, insisted repeatedly that she was totally, completely fine. But the exact second Emma walked through that door, Stabler's entire body transformed. His ears flattened against his skull, his eyes fixed on her with that same desperate intensity. And then he did something nobody had ever witnessed before. He threw the biggest, most dramatic tantrum his family had ever seen. Stabler paced frantically between the door and the living room. He whined, not normal dog sounds, but deep guttural noises that felt almost human. He scratched at Emma's legs, then Marcos's, then Raquel's, grabbed Emma's purse strap gently in his teeth, and pulled her toward the couch. Then he planted himself directly across from her and absolutely refused to move. "I am so sorry," Raquel said, completely embarrassed. "He's been doing this bizarre, dramatic thing lately, and I have no idea what's wrong with him." Emma laughed it off. "It's totally fine. He's actually really sweet." But Stabler wouldn't stop. For 3 full hours during dinner, he stayed glued to Emma's side. Every single time she shifted in her seat, he shifted. Every time she spoke, his ears perked up like he was analyzing every syllable. Every time she fell silent, he nudged her hand with his wet nose. "This is getting genuinely weird," Marcos whispered to Raquel in the kitchen. "He's obsessed with her." After Emma left that night, Stabler sat in the doorway and cried. He didn't bark, he cried. Deep, heartbreaking sounds that made Raquel's chest tighten. "What's wrong?" she whispered, kneeling beside him. Stabler looked at her with eyes that seemed to scream, "I tried to tell you." The phone call came at 2:47 a.m. Emma's name flashed across the screen. His stomach dropped before he answered. "Marcos?" Emma's voice was tiny, shattered. "I'm sorry for calling this late, but I almost did something really terrible tonight. I was going to end everything. But then I kept thinking about Stabler, how he wouldn't leave me alone, how he stared at me like he knew something was desperately wrong." Raquel grabbed the phone. "Emma, where are you right now?" "I'm okay now. I called a crisis hotline. I'm getting help. But I need you to know that dog saved my life tonight. He saw something in me I was hiding from everyone, even myself." Raquel collapsed beside Stabler's bed. He was already awake, staring at her with those same intense eyes. "You knew," she whispered through tears. "You knew the entire time she was suffering." Stabler's tail wagged once, softly, as if to say, "That's what I do." Months later, Emma is thriving. She's in therapy, rebuilding her life, and visits every Sunday. And every time she walks through that door, Stabler greets her the same way. Gently, with one paw resting on her knee, a silent reminder that says, "I see you, and you are never alone." Because Stabler wasn't throwing tantrums, he was screaming with the only voice he had. And sometimes the most dramatic dogs are simply the ones who love the hardest and absolutely refuse to stay silent when someone they love is quietly drowning. So here's my question for you. Can dogs truly sense emotional pain before humans do? Or do they simply love us enough to pay attention when we've stopped loving ourselves?